Hey friends, it's Jeff here. Hey, just wanted to give you a quick little overview of the blog header section here in our blog expansion pack. So this is meant to be just a static addition to your blog. So there's no additional programming needed, but we just wanted to give you guys a couple of just cool kind of up-to-date headers that you could put in your blog if you just need a little spice up. So we just did one that's super simple with text, and your menu could live up there really easily. It's actually very similar to what we did here on our new Lillet Blanc design. So we figured people are just going to kind of love that simple addition. And like you see here, the menu from Lillet works really well here, but also a bar menu or anything else that you might already have on your blog could work well. And this is just a nice, really editorial addition. And then if you wanted to do something with video, did this cool overlay treatment. And my favorite thing is the new video feature on mobile. So we don't have to make GIFs anymore. And so that's all set up and ready for you as well if you wanted to just put this up top. And this would have looked really cool as an opener on this design and would work really well with any other tonic design, or perhaps you don't have a tonic design yet and this would just be a nice way to freshen things up. So anyways, that's the rundown there on the blog header section. Can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Alrighty, bye. Just want to introduce you here to our search sections. So we did about 4 of these, and they're just meant to be a great way for you to add a search section anywhere on your blog, if that's your blog homepage or perhaps underneath your posts. And it's really great for people who have a log, like a lot of backlog on their blog, who've been blogging for many years, and where people are just searching through archives quite a bit. So we introduced a couple of different ways to also just do some like trending searches, basically like stuff that is like your most popular searches, and that you can just like do these quick links to. And we did a whole bunch of different layouts just so you could pick which one works best for you. You'll see here's just kind of a text-based one here in the beginning. Here's one that you could just like also kind of use as a search and a little bit of a category thing. So you could put your top categories here. Just another iteration of that. So this one here is color blocked so that you could literally just kind of put it anywhere and it kind of lives on its own. And then this one would work well if you if you have a lot of white space and you need a little bit more of a transition, or you don't need a hard line and you kind of want it to blend in a little bit, then something like this would work. So these are pretty similar. That's the main difference there. And then this one just has a bit more options here for you to link up with these little thumbnails if you wanted to include some of the popular search terms that you have. That's the rundown there. Pretty easy to add anywhere. I see this also working well if you wanted to have like a search page in WordPress. Super versatile here, and something that we wanted you guys to have if you needed to just round out a little bit more of that searchability on your blog. So hope it helps. All right, so this is the post author bios sections that we made for you guys. And these can just be inserted in to like right underneath your comments on your single post page. And this is just really great for social media links, so that when people come from social media to a specific blog post, there's a little bit of a context underneath, and then it's just as a kind of a personal way to end the post, and then people could learn more about you. So we have a lot of these post author bios on our custom sites, and we wanted to make sure that you guys had them as well and see that like this is how it would look in action. We have it on our new Lillet Blanc blog, and it's just such a nice way to kind of end the post and gets people to kind of connect with you a bit more, and another way to put more social media and stuff. So it's kind of like a little call to action. So we have this kind of lighter version here, which as you can see is a similar layout that you have here. We just did the reverse of it. And then we have this one that's a little bit more square that could work. And then this one here is going to be one that kind of blends into the background more. And so it just kind of depends on how like your blog is laid out, which or styled, which would look better, because sometimes it feels like this would feel too harsh, and then this is the kind of nicer. So just some options to play with. They're all very similar, hopefully very helpful for you. Oh, the other thing I just want to mention too, this is really cool, just this little block of something that you could connect to something as just another way for people to keep exploring your blog. So they get to the end of the post and there's somewhere else for them to go. And here we have the blog categories menu. And this is just meant to be a quick, easy add to those who need a little bit more browsability on their blogs. So two different styles here, one including a hamburger menu that would link to if you had one like Lillet Blanc or Lita Gray, where you'd want to have the main navigation accessible too. So this one here opens up the main menu, but you'll see here that we have the kind of the main top nav, and then as you scroll down, that's when you're introduced to the category nav. And so that's just a really great way to kind of have a more immersive experience within the blog itself, and keep people reading through the blog. But you wouldn't want this navigation on every page. So that's the kind of gist of that one in action. And this one is very similar, and it's just styled a little bit differently, doesn't have the hamburger menu, and could pair well with another top nav, for example. But yeah, just an easy kind of win there if you need more browsability on your blog. And I think just like super easy to restyle too. So if you needed to make this a little bit narrower because it like looks a little chunky on yours or whatever, super easy to do, easy to swap out the fonts to match your styling and everything as well. So these are our about section templates, and we have a lot of variety here, just kind of depending on your blog style. And we just wanted you to be able to have a lot of options to choose from and to kind of play with. But the best place we found for these to go is into your blog homepage. And here, for example, on Manhattan, we just have it kind of underneath these popular categories. And it's just a great way for people to like learn more about you as they're reading on from your blog, especially if they haven't been through your site. They're kind of coming from a link to your blog. And this is just a great way to introduce you more, is just a pretty little thing that you can easily insert. So this one here is essentially the exact one that we took from Manhattan because people loved it so much. So you can insert that in. We have a little bit of a background block on it because that kind of worked really well for Manhattan, not necessary unless you want to add it. And then we have this kind of darker one if you need a harsher transition. We just want to show you kind of the flexibility here to even add a GIF and just add a little movement. So this one's from Boulevardier. This is just another layout from Paper Plane. And actually, no, this one's actually from French 75. So a little bit more traditional styling, and has a key line and everything. And this one is from Paper Plane and works really well pretty much on anywhere. And that's what these are just super flexible. And then this is kind of another treatment that just has a little bit more high impact, has a nice division line because it's overlaid on top of an image. So sometimes you just need something to kind of break it up. Whereas as you saw here on Manhattan, the design's a little bit more like connected and doesn't have a lot of these divisions. But then like all of a sudden you see one here because you kind of need it. So that's why there's a lot of those different layouts, is just depending on where it goes and the previous section and the section beneath it, you might pick a different layout according to that. And then of course the fonts and everything and images are super customizable. So that's why we wanted to kind of give you all of these ranges just so you can easily plug and play that. So this one's actually pretty straightforward. It's just meant to be something that you could put, underneath your post grid for some of the latest and popular posts. And these would just be ones that you manually pick and link up. So you just put your post title here, your image, and manually set the link. And so this is just really great for anywhere that you just want to get people to continue to keep reading. So often we place it, like I said, underneath the post grid, maybe on your single post page, it would go after like your author bio, and it's like, okay, keep reading. So you could even change this to, keep reading. We have this set up to be two different. So there's like the latest, and then there's the popular, and that's just so you could have like, you could literally put like kind of your latest posts and the ones you want to feature, and then you could also do the popular ones, which are just some of the all-time favorite posts. So it's just like a really quick way to show 6 different posts in a super dynamic way, and it's something that you could just periodically update. We also have a version of this in the second blog expansion pack that is using it more dynamically and using WordPress to do that instead of manually doing that. But this one here is meant to just be a quick swap that you might do periodically. Can't wait to see how you use it. All right, so we got a little crazy with this one, and there's quite a few options. It's just one of our favorite ways to have a little bit of a visual break between the post grid sections, and then also just keep people reading. You'll notice the theme here, and some of these tools and these strategies that we're using is to keep people on your blog longer. So this is just not simple, I guess it's a little more complex in that there's 8 thumbnails. So be careful with where you position this one. It might just need to come after something that's a little bit more simple, and then there's something more complex. But a great way if you have a lot of different categories. So a lifestyle blogger may have quite a bit more than just like a food blogger, for example. Although a food blogger would have, their categories would be like dinners, appetizers, drinks, that kind of thing. And it'd be just a really cool way for people to see what all is there. Just a simple layout, really easy for you to do. All you're doing here is just changing your categories and setting the link. That's it. So lots of options to choose from, just depending on how many categories you have, how visual your blog is, where it's going to be positioned. So you can just kind of mix and match, play with whichever ones work best for the layout. Some have backgrounds, so there's a clear divider line. Some are white and are going to kind of blend in with what's above it. Some are more complex and fashiony and editorial. And then even you see here at the bottom, this one's just like super minimal and kind of fine art feeling. So hopefully this kind of, we want to do a whole bunch of different styles just so it kind of ticks the box for anyone. And these are all pulled from some of our best-selling blogs, and then also some of these aren't seen anywhere else, and we designed them specifically for this add-on. So this one's really cool because it has both a way for you to connect to the specific blog categories, but then also to feature some like popular posts too. So it just, again, feels super editorial, and people want to explore more, stick around, and see all the great content you have on your blog. So this is another alternative for featuring some of your favorite posts, popular posts, ones that you just don't want people to miss. So kind of the more evergreen stuff that people are just constantly coming back to your blog for. So this is a great way to dig those out of the archive and put them more on your homepage. So lots of different options here, some from our top selling blogs, and then some new ones as well that are just very editorial and give you a great way to show off that featured content that you don't want people to miss, kind of no matter where they are on the blog. And so just lots of different options here, nothing too horribly complex about them. It's really a matter of like putting in the post title and linking it, and then that's kind of it. And then just putting it, we find the best place to put something like this is either on the homepage, the blog homepage. So one of my favorite examples of this is on Martini, and you actually get the one from Martini as part of this expansion pack. And this is just so beautiful, and it's just a great way to say, okay, here, keep reading. Here's a few more things for you to explore. And so here we have like a featured post section, that kind of 1, 2, 3, like we saw earlier. And then this is another way here's a few more. So this is just on the blog homepage. Now, this would also go really well when you are on the actual single post page. And let's see if we put it there. We did. Okay, so we have another featured post here, and then we have it there as well. So while it may repeat itself in some places, it's just like it's that thing you want people to click on. You could also do one that's different on your homepage versus on your single post page, and they could have different posts. And again, it's digging that stuff up out of the archive and giving them a way to access it more easily. Here's like a little bit more of a more visual one that's a little bit longer, would work really well with a fine art blog that just has a little bit more space around it. So lots of options for you to play with, mix and match, and get people sticking around.